Okay, so I know that you've all heard the tale of being in Japan with these homes that were built 100 years ago that have no HVAC systems at all, and how they tried to deal with that. Um, Biggest challenge here in the winter months is the plumbing, keeping the plumbing from freezing. And I was totally under the wrong impression about how this stuff even worked. Um, they don't do plumbing like we do, where we bring our plumbing into our house and then run it everywhere that it needs to go. What they do here in Japan is they keep the plumbing in the ground. So the plumbing will stay in the ground until they need it, and then it pops out of the ground and goes directly into the house. So it runs up the exterior wall of the house, pops through the wall at the closest point to the faucet that's needed, or in our case, the one that is most troublesome is the toilet fill line, which is right here. As you can see, I've done some jury rigging to try to put some additional insulation on it because it had the smallest of the small insulation. Contrast this to what comes up on the, this is what the bathtub has. Much bigger diameter insulation, much more substantial. But the poor toilet has like virtually nothing. And the combination of cheap foam insulation and duct tape should keep that one through the short term, maybe even keep it from freezing up on us for a little bit. Anyway, you can see all the other, this is the kitchen. All the kitchen water comes up right there and goes in to the kitchen sink and everything else. So that's it for water. I mean, all the running water in the house, I've just identified all the places where it's used and where it comes in. So you get a better idea of just how, I hate to use the word primitive because it's kind of almost brilliant how well it works. And it works down to about, well, the teens. If you get in the low 20s, 20, 21 maybe, or in the teens, it'll probably freeze. But as long as it's warmer than that, it's okay. Um, this right here, this is the shower room, as I mentioned. And what we do when the pipes freeze is we roll up the bamboo, take the shower head out because it's a handheld shower head. Take that out, and then just take it over and hose down the pipe with the hottest water we can. And eventually that will pop it loose, and then we have a toilet again. So that's how that works. You saw a brief shot of this as I was walking through, but this is the Japanese garden hose system. Again, the water comes up out of the ground up to this, and as long as you remember to unhook your hoses, nothing freezes and nothing breaks. So, I don't know. Again, these are things that shouldn't work but somehow do. In our continuing series of interesting Japanese architecture, here is the guttering system. It all is very exterior, and you can see it hangs off of the eaves of the house. So you've got this semicircular tray that just hangs off of there and catches all of the water, rainwater, and everything else. Again, works really well. They don't seem to get clogged by leaves, which is brilliant. Not quite sure how to make that work better. Anyway, this is the side of the house where all the work stuff lands. All the gardening, all the tools, and of course, no snow shovels, but I made use of a hard rake and that little guy to chip out the path so we didn't have a major issue on our sidewalk. And you just see how the plumbing, well, exterior plumbing, guttering looks. And talking about no HVAC, what this is right here, this hallway that's between the living spaces and the exterior wall, you can see it's a little wooden hallway that will get the bulk of the weather, if you will. And something that was not really immediately apparent, they have these big boxes on the end of every row of windows. And what's in there are the storm shutters. So you've got big, thick wooden panels that slide out and cover all of the glass. And the way you get at that, it's if you go inside into that hallway, that back of that big box on the front of the house is open, and you just put your hands on the panels and slide them out. That gives you storm protection. Local wildlife. Up there, there's a relic from the 70s and 80s. I assure you it has no purpose now. That TV antenna is just, I think it's harder to take down than it is just to leave alone. So this is where power comes in, internet comes in, and everything else. But you can see the joining of the two houses. The older house is on the right, and the newer house is on the left. And between the two, I kind of like the way that the older house was built. I don't know, it just seems a little more in sync with how things are. And it seems to have held up better. There's a little more sagging going on over here. Again, focusing on the guttering up there, you can see the rather significant slant, that downhill slant that thing runs. They're not shy about giving you a nice gentle fall. That thing drops about a foot as you go down. And the box there, I think I haven't talked about it, but that is the exterior unit for the AC and heating unit that takes care of the main area. Over on the other side of the house is another one that takes care of the bedrooms. So there's two that kind of mount in the tops of the walls to give what little environment control that's available. Anyway. Okay, so going inside now. That's the Genkan, for those of you following along at home. Genkan, Genkan, where we take off our shoes, hang up our coats, put away our motorcycle gear, and then we can go into the house.